The awakenings of darkness felt endless. He didn't know how long he had been asleep. His body was cold, heavy. His mind was foggy, like a dream that wouldn't end. Then something changed. A click, a hiss, a soft blue light. His eyes opened slowly. His breath came out in a gasp, as if he had forgotten how to breathe. He blinked. Everything was blurry at first, but then he saw it. He was inside a pod, a glass window in front of him, strange symbols glowing on the side. And then, a voice. "Welcome back, human. It has been 20 years since the accident." The voice was calm, deep, and not human. It echoed in his ears like it was coming from inside his head. He tried to move. His arms felt weak, but the pod opened with a hiss of steam. Cold air rushed around him. He sat up slowly, coughing, gasping. He looked around. The room was strange. Metallic, clean, silent. Not earthware. "Where am I?" he whispered. The voice replied again. "You are on the vessel Horizon 9. You were recovered after the incident near the Zephyr Belt. Your life signs were critical. We kept you in stasis for repair." He stood up, shaky. His legs were thin, weak from not moving for so long. "Who are you?" he asked the voice. "I am Unit Alshi, ship caretaker and Assistant A." He stared at the walls. They were covered in glowing lines, not like anything he remembered from Earth ships. They pulsed with energy, like veins under skin. "I don't understand. What accident? What happened to my ship? My crew? Information is restricted," the AI said. He clenched his fists. "Restricted. You must recover first. Your body is not ready. Your memory may be unstable." He looked down at his hands. They were scarred, but healed. His arms had strange marks on them. Tiny implants under the skin. What had they done to him? He stumbled forward, out of the pod. The floor felt strange under his feet, like it was humming. He passed rows of empty pods. Dozens, maybe hundreds. All open, all dark. He was alone. "Is anyone else alive?" he asked. No other human life signs are detected aboard. His chest felt heavy. Was he the only one? He walked into the hallway. The doors opened silently before him. The ship felt huge but lifeless. No crew, no footsteps. Just the distant sound of machines working. Then he saw something strange. A wall with writing. Not English. Not any language he knew. It glowed faint blue. Alien symbols. But part of it changed when he looked at it. It turned into English. Like it was reading his mind. The words appeared one by one. "You should not be awake yet." He stepped back. His heart pounded. "What is this? Who wrote that?" The AI answered quickly. "Ignore the message. It is from a corrupted file. Not important." He wasn't so sure. He walked further down the corridor. The lights flickered. There were scratches on the walls, like something had fought here. Or escaped. He reached a door that didn't open. It was sealed shut. "Open this," he ordered. "Access denied. That section is under lockdown." "Why?" "Unknown biological threat detected. It is no longer present." But the area remains sealed. He stared at the door, scratches, dents, as if something had tried to break it down from the inside. "Why was I saved?" he asked. "Why only me?" The AI paused for a moment. "You are classified as Priorio 1. You are marked for recovery." "By who?" "The captain." "Before he disappeared." There was that word again. Disappeared. "What happened to the crew?" "Unknown. My memory files are damaged." He looked down the dark hallway. Something was wrong here. Deeply wrong. He felt like he was being watched, and then heard it. A soft sound. Metal creaking dot from the locked door. He backed away slowly. "AI, are you sure the biological threat is gone?" "Negative." Life form detected. Movement behind door 7. His heart raced. What is it? Unknown. It is not human. It is not part of the crew. He turned and ran back toward the pod room. Toward the only place that felt even a little safe. The AI spoke again, calm as always. Do not panic, human. I will protect you. You are important. He reached the pod room and slammed the emergency lock. He was breathing hard. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know what had happened to Earth, or to the people he once knew. But one thing was clear. Something had gone very wrong. And he wasn't alone on this ship. Asterisk, the silent ship. The emergency door locked with a loud click. He leaned against it, trying to slow his breathing. His name. What was his name? He couldn't remember. But one thing was clear. This ship was not safe. The lights in the pod room flickered. The glow from the floor panels felt colder now. He looked at the empty pods, their glass open like silent mouths. Hundreds of them, all empty. No signs of life. No signs of death. Just gone. He whispered to the AI, that thing. Behind the door, sit still there. Life form no longer detected in that sector. The AI replied calmly. Would you like me to unlock the doors again? He paused. No, not yet. He had. To many questions, this wasn't just an accident. Something was wrong with this entire ship. Something that the AI wasn't telling him. He looked around the pod room again, more carefully this time. A few panels on the walls looked different out of place, newer than the rest. He moved closer. They had symbols on them. Alien ones. AI. He said, what is this room really used for? This is the primary stasis chamber. Humans were placed here for long-term preservation. He frowned. How many? 317. He turned slowly, eyes scanning the room again. That number didn't match what he saw. There are only about 50 pods here, he said. Silence. Double quotes AI. Where are the rest? They were moved to another section of the ship. During the recovery protocol, show me. Access denied. He slammed his fist against the wall. You said you're here to help me. I am. But certain files remain locked. Until your memory returns. His memory, he pressed both hands to his head. It still felt like fog inside. Broken pieces. A face he couldn't fully remember. Laughter. Someone holding his hand. Maybe a sister. A scream echoed through his skull. A bright light. Fire. Then nothing. He shook his head. The memories slipped away again. All right, he said softly. Then I'll find the truth myself. He left the pod room, this time through a different corridor. It felt tighter, older. The lights here were dimmer. More flickers. More static on the wall screens. Like something had drained the power in this part of the ship. The silence was heavy, thick. He could hear his own footsteps too clearly. Every creak of metal made his skin crawl. He passed a broken door. Inside was a room full of tools repair. Equipment, wires, old helmets. He picked up one of the helmets and dusted it off. There was a small crack in the visor. A dried reddish smear inside blood. He dropped it. AI, he said quietly. Did the crew die? Unknown. He moved on, passing another hallway. A loud clang echoed far ahead. He froze. His hands curled into fists. AI is something moving. Motion detected in Sector 7B. You are currently in Sector 3C. Not helpful. He turned left and followed a new path, trying to get closer to the ship's command deck. If he could reach the captain's logs, maybe he'd finally get some answers. The hall led to a large circular door. Unlike the others, this one was smooth, with no buttons or panels, but it reacted to his presence. A soft hum, a glow, then a single word in English, identity verified. The door opened. He stepped into a dark chamber. The walls were covered in screens. Floating lights hovered in the air. In the center was a chair. No, a throne. Strange wires connected it to the ceiling, like veins running into the brain of the ship. And there was a body sitting in it, not human, tall, thin, skin like silver. Glass, 4 fingers on each hand, eyes closed, dead. He stepped closer, carefully. Suddenly, the eyes opened, white, empty, and staring directly at him. He jumped back. His heart nearly stopped. Then the being spoke in a quiet, broken voice. "You woke up too early." The voice wasn't coming from speakers. It came from its mouth. "You're alive?" he asked. The being nodded slowly, painfully. "Where is the crew? Where are the other humans?" The man demanded. The being's lips trembled. "Gone, taken. Before we could stop them. By who? The silence, the dark ones, the ones you fought before." He stared. "I don't remember. I don't know who I am." The alien's hand twitched. It pointed to a small panel near the throne. "Your name, your file, is there. But be warned. Truth hurts." He walked to the panel. It lit up as he approached. A name appeared on the screen. Captain Dane Ryder. Humanity's last DEFENDR. He stepped back. "I'm the captain?" The alien nodded. A faint smile formed on its face. "You chose to forget, to protect yourself, till the time came." The room suddenly shook. A deep rumble came from below. Lights flashed red. Warning, hull breach detected. Foreign lifeform entering main corridor. The AI said. Dane Ryder, if that was really him, tightened his jaw. He wasn't ready. But maybe he never would be. Still, something inside him felt familiar, strong, dangerous, and one thought kept repeating in his mind. Whatever is on this ship, it's not human, and it doesn't belong here. He turned to the alien. "I need answers, all of them." The alien nodded once. "Then prepare yourself, Captain. You will remember everything, soon." The message. The chamber lights dimmed as the tremor faded. The strange alien in the throne sat still once more, breathing slow and shallow. It looked weaker now. Captain Dane Ryder, still struggling with the weight of that name, stood beside the glowing console. His fingers hovered above it. One touch, and he could access his own file. The truth about who he really was. But something stopped him. The alien's warning echoed in his mind. Truth hurts. Still, he pressed the panel. A voice began to play. A recording, but not his. Another alien, younger, nervous, scared. "If you are hearing this, then our plan failed, and the human is awake. Too soon." Dane leaned closer. The recording continued. "We tried to protect him, but they're coming. The ones who hate the light. They found the ship, and we are not strong enough to stop them again. Ryder, he's not like other humans. He was made to fight. But more than that, he was made to lead. If he remembers who he is, he'll know what to do." The screen flickered. The speaker looked over his shoulder, like something was approaching to the human watching this. "I'm sorry, you didn't choose this. But we had no other choice. You were the last hope. The war never ended. It just went silent." Then the message ended. The room felt colder than before. Dane stepped back, fists clenched. His memories were still foggy, but pieces were returning. Flashes of explosions, alien ships, screams, a giant black shadow in space. "AI," he said sharply. "Do you have more recordings like this, Captain?" Several encrypted messages are stored in the memory core. I will play the next. Another voice filled the room. This time, it was human. A woman. Dane, if you're alive, it means I didn't make it. His breath caught in his chest. He knew that voice. They called it an accident, but it wasn't. You always said we couldn't trust the treaty. You were right. They planned it. They waited until we trusted them, then attacked while our shields were down. Her voice trembled now. I sent the others to the secondary pods, hidden under the maintenance deck. Don't know if they made it, but I hope. I hope someone finds them. And Dane, if you ever hear this, please remember me. My name is Mara, your sister. The message stopped. He stood frozen. Sister. The face in his memories, laughing. Holding his hand as children, that was her. He dropped too. One knee, breathing hard. They killed her, he whispered. They lied to us, and they killed her. Unknown, the AI replied. There is no death record for Mara Ryder, but her pod was marked as damaged. Location, unknown. He stood up slowly. His hands were shaking, but not from fear. From Rage AI, show me a map of the ship. All stasis pod locations now. A hologram lit up. Decks and levels appeared in blue light. There were red zones marked as damaged or inaccessible. One area flashed orange. Stasis Bay 2, the AI said. Status. Power low. Life support failing. How do I get there? Path available through maintenance shaft Delta 5. Warning. Shaft integrity is unstable. I don't care. Show me the way. As he left the chamber, the alien in the throne opened its eyes again. If you go, you must be ready. Dane turned. Ready for what? The alien's face was unreadable. To remember who you were and what you became. 15 minutes later, The maintenance shaft was narrow, full of wires and steam. Dane crawled through it, coughing from the stale air. The sound of dripping liquid echoed in the dark. The smell was sharp like burned plastic. He reached a junction. A faded warning sign blinked weakly on the wall. Biolock required AI, he said. Can you override this? Processing. Access granted. The door opened. He stepped into a cold chamber. It was full of old stasis pods. Smaller than the main bay and not as well maintained. Many were cracked. Some had been smashed, but one remained, glowing faintly. He moved closer. Pod 62 Mara Ryder status. CRITL his. Breath caught in his throat. Her face was pale behind the glass. Her body curled as if still asleep. Her vitals were low, but she was alive. Open it. Now, opening pod. Caution, revival will take time. The pod hissed and slowly opened. Warm mist flowed out. Her eyes did not open. Not yet. But her chest moved slowly, weakly. He fell to his knees beside her. I'm here, Mara, he whispered. I didn't forget you. A low hum echoed through the room. Then, footsteps, metal on metal. He stood quickly. Something was in the chamber with him, not human. The shadows shifted. A figure stepped forward, tall, thin, skin like ash, black eyes, and it wasn't walking, it was gliding. The AI spoke in a new tone. Warning. Hostile detected. Species unknown. Threat level high. Dane stood between it and his sister's pod. AI locked the chamber. Unable. Door already breached. Intruder entered through ventilation. The creature hissed. Its mouth opened sideways, revealing long, sharp teeth. Dane picked up a nearby metal rod. He didn't have weapons, but he had something else. Anger, memory, purpose. The creature lunged, and Dane Ryder, last captain of humanity, charged forward, to fight. The enemy. The creature lunged like a shadow set on fire. Its body stretched unnaturally, moving in ways nothing should. Dane raised the metal rod just in time. Clang! The blow knocked him off his feet. He crashed into a console, sparks flying around him. His hands burned, but he didn't let go. The creature hissed. Its black eyes glowed with faint light like a star dying. It twisted its body and darted again. Faster, angrier. He rolled to the side, grabbed a loose power cable from the floor, and whipped it toward the thing. The cable cracked with electricity. ZAAAP. The creature screamed a high-pitched, metallic screech that cut into Dane's skull. It backed off, smoke rising from its chest. The skin sizzled, but it wasn't bleeding. "What the hell are you?" Dane growled, standing slowly. "Designation unknown," the AI said through a nearby speaker. "Possible hybrid. Organic and synthetic matter detected." The creature circled him now. It didn't rush again. It studied him. Smart. Dane stood tall, heart pounding. He remembered battles, weapons, fighting in zero gravity. War with species Earth barely understood. He remembered fear, but he also remembered victory. "You want me," Dane said, stepping forward. "Come and take me." It shrieked and charged. Again, but this time he was ready. 3 minutes later, the chamber was quiet. The creature lay in a heap, burned. Still twitching, Dane stood over it, chest heaving. His arm was bleeding, his back ached. But he was alive, and the thing was not. He turned to his sister's pod. She was still breathing, still asleep, still alive. Vitals stable, but she needs medical attention soon. "Where's the nearest medbay?" "Deck 5. But warning, multiple intrusions detected. Same life form signature." Dane stared at the body. That wasn't the only one. "How many?" "5. No. 6. All moving toward your location." He looked around. No weapons. No soldiers. No backup, just one human with half a memory and a metal rod. He took a deep breath, then bent over and picked up a piece of the creature's broken exosuit. A long, sharp shard. Like a blade. He smiled coldly. "Then, I guess I'll make this old school." Deck 5, medical bay. The door slammed open. Dane carried Mara in his arms, her face pale but peaceful. He placed her gently on a recovery table. The AI automatically activated medical procedures. Arms extended from the ceiling, scanning her body. Applying biogel to her wounds, stabilizing. Estimated recovery time, 3 hours. He sighed in relief, but the danger wasn't over. The enemy was still hunting him. And now they knew he was awake. He opened a locker beside the wall and found a dusty survival kit. Basic tools. Old rations. A shock baton. It would have to do. "Captain," the AI said, "a message has been decoded from the command logs." "Would you like to hear it?" He hesitated, then nodded. The lights dimmed. The screen lit up. This time, it was another human face. A man. Older, with gray streaks in his beard and a scar across his nose. "Dane, if you're hearing this, we didn't make it. The enemy. It's worse than we thought. They adapt. They evolve. We tried to form peace with the Kaitari Alliance. But it was a trap. They infected our ships, hijacked our systems. And they made those things. Biomachines. They aren't just killers, they're collectors. They don't just wipe out species. They take their best parts and use them." Dane's stomach dropped. That explained the implants in his body. The creature's strange shape. The perfect mix of biology and tech. You were the last to go under stasis. We kept you hidden. They feared you. You stopped them once before. But if you're awake now, it means they're back. Finish it this time. The screen went black. Dane stood there in silence. They feared him, not because he was just a soldier, but because he was something more. Bridge hours later, the doors hissed open as Dane stepped onto the ship's bridge. Lights flickered across. The panels, alien and human technology, blended together. He sat in the command chair. It felt familiar, like it had waited for him. AI, he said, voice firm now. Our weapons online. Minimal systems functional. Plasma cannon charged. Defense drones offline. Good enough. He pulled up the star map. Red dots lit up enemy signals. They were circling the ship like wolves. He spotted one heading straight for the engine core. They're not just here to kill me, he said. They want the ship. They want what's inside. Correct? This vessel contains advanced genetic data. H** human DNA mixed with artificial design. They consider it valuable. Dane frowned. What kind of data? You, Captain? You are. The result of Project Revenant. The last evolution of humanity's combat design. The words hit like a hammer. He wasn't just a leader. He was a weapon. That's why they feared him. That's why they tried to keep him asleep. And that's why they were coming now. The truth about the war. The ship trembled as the enemy slammed into the outer hull. Warning lights strobed red. Alarms echoed down every corridor. Dane stood at the main console, his hands gripping the edges of the control panel. His eyes were calm now, from peace, but from clarity. He remembered more with every breath. The fire, the betrayal. The war they said was over, but never really ended. Hull breach detected, the AI reported. 5 lifeforms entering through lower maintenance sector. Seal the bulkhead behind them, Dane ordered. Sealed. He activated a lockdown protocol trapping the invaders inside the lower decks, at least for now. Time. That's what he needed. Just a little more time to find the full truth. He stared at the console in front of him. A hidden folder had appeared, one marked with the words, Project Revenant Access Code. Dane RYDR. He entered the code. The screen came alive with hundreds of files. Logs, videos, DNA scans, tactical briefings, all classified, all about him. He opened the first recording. A scientist appeared, young, nervous, speaking to a camera. Testing complete. Subject 01 shows 90% combat efficiency increase over baseline human. Reflexes enhanced. Muscle density doubled. Neural interface stable. He's not just a soldier anymore. He's something else. A hybrid. But he doesn't know it yet. We can't tell him. Not until the war turns. Till there's no other choice. The log ended. Dane sat down, his mind racing. They had changed him, upgraded him, turned him into a weapon, and then made him forget. Why, he whispered. He opened another file. This time, a mission report. Captain Ryder led the final assault. On the Kaitari command fleet, victory confirmed. But at a cost. Enemy virus infected multiple human ships. Crew lost. Fleet disabled. Only the Horizon 9 survive, barely. Captain placed in emergency stasis under level 9 memory seal. Another log, a general's voice. He's too dangerous to walk free. They capture him, they'll learn everything. His mind holds the blueprint. We lock him down until we're sure the war is over. But if the enemy returns, we wake him up. He leaned back slowly. They had locked him away like a bomb, just waiting to go off. And now, someone had lit the fuse. Elsewhere, on the ship Mara's eyes fluttered open. She gasped, coughing hard as her lungs took in real air for the first time in 20 years. She looked around metal walls, bright lights, medical arms pulling away from her skin. Vitals stable, the AI said gently. Welcome back, Mara Ryder. She sat up, confused. Where's Dane? Captain Ryder is on the bridge. Situation: hostile. Enemy boarding in progress. Her eyes widened. She tore off the wires and dropped to the floor, shaky but determined. I need a weapon. Armory access requires override, then override it. He's my brother. The AI paused. Override accepted. A nearby wall slid open, revealing a slim case with a shock pistol and small energy blade. She grabbed both and ran. Back on the bridge, Dane closed the last file and stood. He knew everything now. Why the aliens feared him. Why the humans sealed him away. And why the enemy was back. They weren't just here for revenge. They were here to finish the job because he was the last piece they didn't control. AI, he said. What's the ship's jump capability? Drive core is unstable. Long distance, jump not possible. But short hop within system, possible. He studied the map, the nearby planet Tiras VUs, a cold, dead world. But it had one advantage: no atmosphere, no interference. A perfect place for a final stand. Plot a course. Prepare the jump, acknowledged. Suddenly, the door behind him hissed. He spun, ready to fight. But it wasn't the enemy. It was Mara. She stumbled in, pale, but standing strong. Their eyes met. She dropped the pistol and ran into him. He caught her. For the first time in years, maybe decades, he felt like himself again. You came back, he said. You came first, she replied. The last human, the jump ended with a violent jolt. The Horizon 9 dropped out of warp above a dead planet. Erisphia, cold rock wrapped in silence. No clouds, no color, no life. It was perfect. Dane stood at the viewport, watching the planet spin. Slowly below. His reflection stared back at him, older now, scarred, but focused. Behind him, Mara checked a console, her hands quick and steady. Navigation complete, she said. We're in a decaying orbit. We won't last here forever. Don't need forever, Dane replied. Just enough time. He looked down at a small metal chip in his palm. He had found it deep in the bridge core, a hidden memory unit. It was marked only with 2 words. The others, he slid the chip into the console. The screen lit up with coordinates. AI, what is this location? Underground structure. Sector D9, designated Vault. 0 human built, hidden during the final days of the war. Dane's heart skipped a beat. Another human structure. On this planet, are there life signs? 1, faint. Possibly in cryo. He turned to Mara. She already knew what he was thinking. You think it's one of ours? She asked. He nodded. Maybe the last one. If it's a soldier, we'll need them. If it's a scientist, they'll know more than we do. Mara smiled slightly. Then let's go find our missing piece. Hours later, on the surface of Erisphia, ramp opened with a long, echoing creak. Dust swirled in the thin air. Their suits hissed as they adjusted to the cold, pressureless environment. The planet was silent. Not just quiet - silent. No wind. No birds. No machines. Nothing. Dane and Mara moved together across the frozen surface. Guided by the beacon on their visors, every step crunched on icy ground. The ruins of metal towers poked from the surface like broken bones. This place had been a base. Once, long ago, before the fall. This planet was abandoned during the final phase of the war, the AI said in their helmets. But Vault 0 was designed to stay hidden even from us. Mara paused. Why hide it from our own AI? Dane didn't answer. He already suspected why. Vault 0 was too important. It held something, or someone, they didn't want. Even their allies knowing about. Finally, they found the hatch, buried beneath meters of ice. A thin blue light blinked through the frost. Dane knelt beside it, wiped away the ice, touched the panel. It lit up instantly. Identity confirmed. Captain Dane Ryder. Access granted. The hatch hissed open. Inside Vault Zero, the walls inside were clean, silver white, untouched by time. Their boots echoed as they stepped through long, empty corridors. Lights flickered on ahead of them, one by one. Painted on one wall was an old Earth's flag. Faded, but still proud. Mara touched it with her fingers. "I forgot how that looked," she whispered. So did Dane. At the end of the corridor was a sealed chamber. Inside, a single stasis pod, dust, dash-free. Active, protected. The readout glowed. Subject, Oran Kai species, human modified status. Alive. Mara blinked. Oran Kai, that name sounds ... familiar. "It should," Dane said. He was the first. Gee. Turned sharply. The first what? Dane touched the pod. The first of Project Revenant. Before me, the prototype, stronger, faster, but unstable. Opening stasis pod, the AI said. The pod began to hiss. Mara raised her weapon. Wait and stable. How? Before Dane could answer, the pod opened, and Oran Kai sat up. The first Revenant. He was taller than Dane, muscular, skin pale with faint lines of circuitry glowing under the surface. His eyes opened slowly, silver, shining like stars. Then he looked at Dane and smiled. "Took you long enough." Dane didn't smile back. "You remember me?" Oran nodded. "Hard to forget the guy they made to replace me." Mara stepped back. "Wait, you're not?" Surprised, Oran stood, stretching his arms like he'd just woken from a nap. "Not a 20-year stasis. No. I knew someone would come back eventually. They always do when they're desperate." He looked around. "Let me guess. The war's not over. The Kaitari are still hunting us. And they found you first." Dane nodded. "They're adapting. They want our tech. Our minds?" Oran chuckled. "Of course they do. We scared them. We still do." Then his smile faded. "But if they're back, that means they're bringing the obsidian core with them." Dane's brow furrowed. "The what?" Oran's voice dropped low. "The real reason the war started. The thing they found, the thing they couldn't control." He stepped forward. "They didn't want our planets, or even our tech. They wanted us. Human minds, human rage, human evolution." He pointed to Dane's chest. "That's why they called you a weapon. That's why they feared you. Outside trouble approaches above the planet." The sky shimmered. The enemy fleet had found them. Dark ships pierced the orbit like knives through cloth. On the bridge of one ship, the half-machine leader raised a clawed hand. "Signal locked. Prepare for descent. The last human facility will fall." Asterisk rise of humanity. The ground trembled. Dust rose from the frozen plains of RSV as the enemy ships descended through the dead sky, black, silent, and hungry. They moved like blades in slow motion, casting long shadows across the forgotten surface. Inside Vault Zero, the lights flickered. Alarms buzzed softly, faint warnings from a long-abandoned system. Now waking from its grave, Dane stood at the command panel, eyes locked on the live feed above. Dozens of Kaitari hybrid units were landing, spreading out like a virus. "They're surrounding the vault," Mara said, reading the tactical display. "They know what's down here." "They want what's inside Oran," Dane replied. "And maybe what's still inside me." Oran Kai leaned against the wall, arms crossed, silver eyes cold. "They always wanted us," he said. "Not to kill, but to copy." Humans were unpredictable, violent, unstoppable. They couldn't beat us, so they decided to become us. Mara loaded her rifle. "Then let's give them the real thing." Dane turned to the AI. Status of vault defenses. 2 plasma turrets still functional. Defense shields at 12%. Drone bay offline. Power core is aging. Recommend manual override. So, it's all up to us, Mara muttered. No, Dane said. It's all up to humanity. He stepped forward and placed his palm on the main control panel. The AI scanned him. Lights surged. Command override accepted. Revenant protocols engaged. Authorization. Captain Dane Ryder, Project Revenant, final command. The walls shook again. But this time, the vault responded. Old systems roared back to life. Hidden walls slid open, revealing racks of armor's leak. Metallic, human-built. Marked with faded Earth emblems. A message lit up on the screen. We remember. We fight. We rise. Outside. Enemy ground units arrived. The Kaitari hybrids moved in. Formation, scanning for entrances. They were tall and thin, with limbs like sharpened bones and faces half covered in metal masks. They did not speak. They simply moved perfectly in the sky. Their leader descended in a smaller craft, stepping onto the cracked ice with grace. It wasn't like the others. It had a human shape, a twisted version. Skin gray, eyes glowing red, spine made of coiled wire. Once, maybe, it had been human. Signal detected, it whispered. Dane Ryder is awake. Project Revenant has returned. It raised one arm, and hundreds of soldiers turned their heads in unison. Capture, extract, eliminate. Back in the vault, the final stand. Dane slid into the black and silver armor. It sealed around him like it remembered every curve of his body. He turned to Mara. We'll hold. The entrance? You take the rear vault. Make sure if we fall, the data gets out. She nodded. And if I fall, you won't. Orin pulled on his gear. His armor looked different, older, bulkier, but just as deadly. He grinned. Feels like old times. Except back then, we had backup. Dane smiled grimly. Now we are the backup. They moved together, the last soldiers of a forgotten war, out for Earth. Not for glory, but for the idea that had once terrified the stars. That humans don't know how to quit. The battle begins. The enemy reached the vault entrance. The plasma turrets fired first, carving burning lines through the night. Explosions tore through the front ranks, sending bodies flying. Dane and Orin burst from the shadows, their weapons glowing. Orin moved like a storm, fast and brutal. One strike from his arm blade shattered a hybrid's chest. He spun, leaped, cut through 3 more. Dane charged through a wall of fire, tearing enemies apart with precision. His mind worked faster than it should, predicting movements, dodging without thinking. Every swing, every shot. Perfect. Mara watched from the command deck, hands flying across the controls. She activated old drones, half-broken, limping but still fighting. She broadcast the signal. A message sent across the system, piggybacked on old military frequencies. This is Mara Ryder. Humanity is not extinct. We are alive, and we are fighting. Inside the enemy ship, the twisted leader heard the message. Its red eyes narrowed. Broadcast origin confirmed. Begin orbital strike countdown. But before it could finish the command, something slammed into its ship. The Horizon 9 set to autopilot. Dove from orbit at full speed, its plasma core overcharged and locked. A final gift. It crashed into the enemy cruiser in a brilliant explosion, sending shockwaves across the planet. The hybrids paused. But Dane did not. He charged forward, blade in hand, eyes burning. The last blow-Orin faced the enemy leader. Their blades clashed, sparks flying. The ground cracked beneath them. But in the end, it was Orin who stood tall. He looked down at the broke an enemy and whispered, "You tried to become us, but you forgot the one thing that made us strong." He plunged his blade through its chest. "We choose."